Men, listen carefully, because today I'm revealing something women will never admit. The 7 ways we fake satisfaction in bed and make you believe everything's perfect, even when it's not. I'm a woman, and I promise you, these signs are so subtle that even smart men miss them every single time. It's an intricate dance of human nature, driven by the desire for perceived betterment and connection, often without conscious malice. Before I blow your mind, please hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. Let's see how far this truth travels. Most women don't even realize we're doing this. We tell ourselves we're growing, that we've found ourselves, that we're finally living authentically. But the truth is much simpler and more painful. When a woman suddenly changes multiple aspects of herself simultaneously, there's always a catalyst, and that catalyst usually has a name, a face, and access to her daily life. This isn't about conscious malice. It's an unconscious, almost primal adaptation to shifts in her environment and attractions. We are, at our core, beings designed for connection, and sometimes that drive for connection manifests in ways that are difficult for men to interpret. Understanding these subtle cues can save you from a lot of heartache and confusion, and instead empower you with clarity and a deeper understanding of female behavior. Way 1. The over-the-top moans. We know porn trained you to think loud equals good, so we exaggerate. Sighs, gasps, sounds that make you feel like a king. It's theater, not passion. When it's real, it's not performed, it's spontaneous. If the moans sound like a script, it's probably fake. This isn't about genuine pleasure. It's about meeting an expectation you've been conditioned to have. The louder and more frequent the sounds, the more we believe you'll feel like a successful lover. It's a calculated performance to ensure your confidence remains intact and to subtly nudge you towards concluding the act. We've learned that certain vocalizations equate to success in your eyes, and so we deliver. These over-the-top sounds often lack the raw, guttural, and sometimes awkward authenticity of genuine pleasure. They can feel almost too perfect, too rhythmic, too much like a Hollywood soundtrack. Genuine moans are often guttural, less controlled, and unique to the moment. They arise from an uninhibited release, not a conscious effort to produce certain sounds. The difference lies in the authenticity of the sound. One is manufactured, the other is an organic response to intense pleasure. The consistency or mechanical nature of the sounds can be a telltale sign that what you're hearing is more an act than a spontaneous expression of bliss. Look for the genuine tremor, the uncontrolled gasp, the way a real sound might catch in her throat. These are the hallmarks of true, unfeigned climax, not the theatrical performance. If her sounds always manage to build to the same dramatic crescendo, regardless of the quality of the interaction, it's a strong indicator of a rehearsed act. Way 2. Strategic compliments. We throw in lines like, "You're amazing," or "I've never felt this before." These words aren't for us. They're for your ego. The goal is to make you stop questioning if we're actually satisfied. If she says the same phrase every time, it's not authenticity, it's habit. These compliments are carefully placed verbal cues designed to manage your perception and ensure you feel competent and successful. By praising your performance directly, we divert your attention from any underlying lack of genuine engagement on our part. It's a preemptive strike against potential insecurity, ensuring that the interaction ends on a high note for you, even if it wasn't particularly fulfilling for us. The phrases are often generic, lacking any specific detail about what exactly was amazing, or when she felt something new. They are broad strokes of flattery intended to paint over any deficiencies. When these phrases lack specificity or are repeated verbatim across different encounters, it signals a rehearsed response rather than a heartfelt appreciation. An authentic compliment stems from a unique moment of pleasure, not a pre-programmed script. If it sounds like something she picked up from a romantic comedy, it probably is. Pay attention to the timing of these compliments too. They often appear right when you might be hesitating or showing a flicker of doubt, serving as a quick reassurance to keep you engaged and confident. Way 3. Quick breathing tricks. We speed up our breathing and tense our muscles to mimic the climax build-up. Your mind wants confirmation you're doing great, and rapid breaths deliver that illusion. If her breathing changes instantly without gradual build, it's fake. This involves short, rapid breaths, sometimes accompanied by a slight tremor or tensing of the body. The aim is to create the physical sensation and audible cues associated with escalating arousal, leading you to believe a climax is imminent or occurring. Because these physical signs are so closely linked to genuine arousal in your mind, you are predisposed to interpret them as definitive proof of her satisfaction. It's an easy and effective way to simulate intense pleasure without actually feeling it. Real arousal builds gradually. It's a slow burn that intensifies over time, leading to an organic increase in heart rate and breathing that feels natural and unforced. A sudden, unearned gasp or an instant shift to hyperventilation without the preceding signs of mounting tension can be a red flag. The forced quality to the breathing, or the lack of synchronization with the rhythm of the act, indicates a deliberate act rather than an organic progression of arousal. Her body language might not quite match the intensity of her breathing. There might be a disconnect between the apparent effort of her breath and the lack of corresponding physical engagement or relaxation. Way 4. The perfectly timed finish. We fake the finale because we know you're getting close. And we don't want you to feel bad. We do it to protect your confidence and end the session sooner. If her finish always aligns perfectly with yours, question it. This often involves a sudden, sharp intake of breath, a quick physical tremor, or a soft moan, precisely coinciding with your peak. It's an act of synchronicity, making you believe you've brought her to completion alongside you. The desire to avoid hurting your feelings or to simply conclude an unsatisfying experience drives this deception. It's a pragmatic decision aimed at minimizing discomfort for both parties, rather than extending a situation that isn't enjoyable. The subtle art of this fake is in its precision. It's not too early, not too late, but perfectly calibrated to reinforce your perception of success. Consistent, perfect timing with your own climax is often too good to be true. Real climaxes have their own unique timing, independent of yours, and are rarely so perfectly synchronized. The human body, in its genuine moments of passion, is not a clock, and expecting a flawless, repeatable endpoint should always raise an eyebrow. This precision often comes from an awareness of your rhythms and a desire to align with them, rather than an authentic internal build-up and release. Way 5. Body language acting. We arch the back, clutch the sheets, bite the lip, all classic signals of pleasure. We know what looks sexy to you, so we perform it. If her face looks flawless during the act, it's likely staged. Real passion is messy. These are learned behaviors, often observed from media or other sources, and are deployed to visually convey intense satisfaction. They are deliberate actions, not spontaneous reactions. These actions are a form of physical theater, designed to meet your expectations of what a woman experiencing profound pleasure looks like. The more dramatic and visually striking the movements, the more convincing the performance. An unblemished appearance during what should be an intense physical experience is a major indicator of faking. True passion often involves less concern for how one looks and more for the raw, uninhibited experience. Hair might be disheveled, faces might contort in expressions that aren't perfectly camera-ready, and movements might be less graceful and more primal. If she looks like she's posing for a photo shoot in the middle of passion, she probably is. The difference is in the effortlessness. Authentic movements are fluid and responsive to sensation, while staged movements can appear slightly stiff or exaggerated, as if consciously enacted. Way 6. Sudden silence after. We think being quiet after sex makes you believe we're in bliss. You assume silence equals satisfaction, but often it's exhaustion from pretending. If she avoids talking about the experience at all, that's a red flag. The idea is that true contentment is silent and internal, a state of profound post-coital peace. By remaining still and quiet, we project an image of deep satisfaction, too overwhelmed to speak. This silence is often less about serene contentment and more about relief that the performance is over, or simply a lack of anything genuine to say. It's an absence of interaction, not an abundance of feeling. An immediate withdrawal or avoidance of post-coital conversation can indicate a lack of genuine connection or satisfaction, a sign that the silence is a void rather than a serene aftermath. If she immediately rolls over, pulls the covers up, or seems eager to get out of bed without a lingering touch or shared word, it's not because she's too blissful to speak. It's often because there's nothing authentic to share, and the effort of pretending has taken its toll. Compare this to a genuinely satisfied woman who might linger, sigh contentedly, or initiate soft conversation or affectionate touch. The absence of these natural post-intimacy behaviors is a telling sign. Way 7. Blaming herself for lack of desire. We say things like, "It's not you, it's me," or blame stress and hormones. We shift the responsibility away from you to avoid confrontation. If she uses vague excuses without trying to fix it, she's covering the real issue. These are convenient and commonly accepted excuses that shift the blame away from your performance and onto internal, often unprovable, factors within her. It's a way to deflect without directly confronting the issue. The real reason is often a lack of genuine arousal or satisfaction with your performance, but it's easier and less confrontational to take the blame oneself than to express dissatisfaction. It protects your ego and avoids an uncomfortable discussion. Repeated, unspecific excuses for a lack of engagement are a strong sign of underlying dissatisfaction that she is unwilling to vocalize directly. She might genuinely believe these excuses in the moment as a way to rationalize her own lack of response without having to pinpoint a more painful truth. Watch for patterns. If stress, fatigue, or hormonal shifts are always the reason, and there's never any proactive effort to address these supposed issues, it's a smokescreen. A truly engaged partner, if facing genuine issues, would typically seek solutions or communicate a desire to improve things, not just offer repeated vague alibis. The psychology behind the fake. Women fake satisfaction not because they hate you, but to protect your ego, avoid conflict, or escape routine sex. This behavior, while seemingly harmless in the short term, often leads to emotional distance over time. It erodes genuine intimacy and prevents both partners from experiencing truly fulfilling sexual encounters. The foundation of honesty is crucial for deep connection. These changes aren't necessarily about physical cheating. They're about emotional preparation for possibility. We're testing new versions of ourselves, seeing if we fit better with someone else's lifestyle, values, or vision. This subconscious mirroring is an evolutionary programming that helped women survive for thousands of years by staying aligned with the strongest, most viable partner available. We don't consciously plan this betrayal. We feel attraction and begin adapting automatically. This looks like genuine personal growth, but it's often shape-shifting to create compatibility with someone new. When a woman suddenly changes multiple aspects of herself simultaneously, there's always a catalyst, and that catalyst usually has a name, a face, and access to her daily life. This is not a conscious conspiracy. It's an intricate dance of human nature, driven by the desire for perceived betterment and connection. The subtle shifts often go unnoticed until they become undeniable, leaving men bewildered by the transformation of the woman they thought they knew. These internal shifts, though initially subtle, create a growing chasm in the relationship, leading to a sense of disconnect that can be difficult to bridge once it has widened. What should you do? Don't accuse. Start a calm, open, and non-judgmental conversation. Frame it as a shared exploration of what brings you both pleasure. Use I statements, focusing on your desire for deeper connection and mutual satisfaction. Focus on emotional connection, not performance metrics. Shift the emphasis from achieving a finish to exploring pleasure together. This means prioritizing foreplay, communication during the act, and understanding her unique desires and responses. Create a safe space for her to express her true feelings without fear of judgment or retaliation. True intimacy blossoms in vulnerability, and that requires an environment of trust where both partners feel heard and valued without the pressure of performance. Remember, real satisfaction isn't loud, it's deep. It's a quiet resonance, a profound connection that extends beyond the physical act. If your woman suddenly changes her appearance, discovers new passions, and starts creating boundaries, especially if all three happen simultaneously, there's likely a specific man inspiring these transformations. Don't try to compete by becoming more like the other guy. Don't attempt to resurrect the old version of her. Don't start changing yourself to match her new interests. These strategies never work because they come from a place of fear and scarcity. The Stoic approach is to accept reality with dignity. If a woman is changing away from you instead of with you, that's already your answer. A man with self-respect doesn't cling to someone who's emotionally checking out. He understands that genuine connection is mutual, and if one party is disengaging, forcing it will only lead to further resentment and heartache. The truth is, when she starts talking about boundaries with you, she's often creating space for someone else. She's not becoming more independent, she's becoming more selective about who gets access to her time, energy, and attention. Her future plans might shift from we language to I language. She might stop making long-term plans that include you, not because she doesn't love you, but because she's uncertain about who she wants to be. Your encouragement of her growth can inadvertently become the permission she needs to explore other options. Knowledge is power, and now you know the signals. A man who understands these dynamics can choose to respond with dignity, self-respect, and a clear vision for his own future, rather than falling victim to a narrative that hides a deeper truth. This awareness allows you to make informed decisions about your relationship, focusing on your own well-being and seeking authentic connections that truly nourish both partners. Now tell me in the comments, did you recognize any of these patterns? What city are you watching from? Let's support each other in the comments below.